where your plants cannot have access to them. It destroys the microclimate and warms up the environment. It leads to desert encroachment. Desert begins to settle. When there are no trees, everywhere is just open. Then desert is forming. Then it depletes the supply of forest produce, that is raw materials. There is nothing that you carry to the industry when you have taken all the trees, So the paper industry does not have anything to come and take again. So there is no raw materials for the industry. Next forest management practice that we'll be talking about is regeneration. Regeneration is a process of forest regrowth after it has been exploited. Okay, we have 1,000 trees. Before we knew it, 400 has been taken out. We are left with 600. Oh, if we are not careful, this will keep on happening. So we start planting. Let's plant another 1,000 young trees. So that is reforestation. Regeneration is a deliberate government policy in the restoration of deforested areas after the exploitation to balance the ecosystem. Just the opposite of deforestation. After the trees have been taken out without replacement. So when you come to replace or plant trees in place of those that have been cut down, that is called regeneration. And we have two types of regeneration. We have the natural regeneration and the artificial regeneration. Natural regeneration is the regrowth of new plants from old stumps. Not as if you are planting another one. You know, when you cut down trees, there are stumps in the ground. That is, there are small portions. The roots are not removed. The small portion that still has the roots with it, when they grow back, that is what is called natural regeneration. But when you come to plant new forest seedlings, for instance, you have taken out Iroko trees from the forest. When you cut those trees down, there are stumps, very small portions of the tree in the soil, and they start to grow. That is natural regeneration. But when you come to bring seedlings of Iroko tree and you plant it deliberately in the forest, that is called artificial regeneration. The advantages of natural regeneration: it is less expensive because you don't really have to do anything. That will grow naturally on its own. Then it doesn't require formal stages in plantation establishment. Then it brings about stabilization of natural ecosystem in the area of its establishment. Then it does not require special management skills because it's something that has been established before. It will just grow back naturally. Then Aforestation. Aforestation is a process of establishing forest plantation in any area. This is fresh now, just want to plant it. It's not as if forest has existed there before. You want to use this area of land for forest. So when you bring plant seedlings or tree seedlings to a particular place to establish forest plantation, it is called afforestation. It involves the complete removal of natural vegetation before planting new forest species. It is popularly known as tree planting campaign in Nigeria. You know, some state government says that they should plant 2 seedlings to replace any one that is harvested. You know, that's a wise one. When you plant to replace your one, so you remove 200, you plant 400. You know, we have a lot to replace what we take away. So that is afforestation. The advantages of afforestation: it leads to addition of organic matter, resulting in an increase in soil fertility. It also provides a regular supply of raw materials. When you afforest, when you plant new trees, you can be sure that in another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you have something to take to the industry. Then it prevents desert encroachment. You know, in deserts there are no trees, so you prevent encroachment of desert when you plant forest. Then it increases forest fauna in the area concerned. There will be animals, wild animals, you know, that is their own habitat. They live in the forest, so you find them there. That is forest fauna. Then it prevents leaching of nutrients. It also increases soil moisture retention. Then it increases the amount of rainfall in the area. Now move on to talk about Tangas system. The Tangas system is a planting of arable crops at early stages of forest establishment, and the arable crops are harvested before the trees form canopy. It's like incorporating planting of food crops or arable crops into the forest before the trees form canopies. When the trees, for instance, you have trees, then they touch each other when they have grown, then there will be no light penetration into that is why you have everywhere shaded when you are under a forest plantation that is closed. But before the forest is established, before they start forming canopy, you can plant. The act of planting arable crops or food crops in the forest is what is referred to as the Tangas system. It is a system which integrates agriculture with forestry. Then the conditions that are necessary for the practice of this Tangas system is the scarcity of land. When land is scarce and you have a land you want to use for forest, before the forest grow to form canopy, before they reach that level, you can quickly plant your food crops that you will use. So scarcity of land will make people practice Tangas system. Then overpopulation will lead to scarcity of land. So when there are a lot of people that are contending for the land, you can maximize your own land for multi-purpose. Then unemployment too. When there is really no job, people are idle. Instead of just planting forest and sitting down for how many years, you can as well put your seeds into the ground, seed that will quickly germinate, and you have something to sell and generate money for yourself. Then government policies too can make people practice Tangas system. When government brings about a policy that okay, this is what we want to do, this is what should be done, and things like that, we make people to practice the Tangas system. Low standard of living, just as I've explained with unemployment, we make people practice Tangas system. Then granting of incentives to farmers. Loans can be granted farmers. So when they have loans and they just think of it, oh, I can maximize this land by planting arable or food crops and eat. Now, the advantages of the Tangas farming system. Variety of crops are planted. You plant variety, aside your iroko and vegetable tree that you have there, you can also plant maize, you can plant your beans and things like that. Also, availability of crop produce throughout the year. It's not that until the forest trees are matured and you fell them that you have money. No. Crop produce can always be planting something and some money is flowing in, food is flowing in for the family. Then when leguminous crops are used, the beneficial effect of root nodules increases soil fertility for the benefit of the forestry. That's an advantage. Leguminous plants have a way of replenishing the soil with nutrients in their root nodules. Then when land is scarce, the farmer has a piece of land to cultivate. I've said that here. The young forest trees receive direct and indirect attention from the farmer. When the farmer plants the trees and they are already doing well, you may just be checking it once in 3 months, since there is nothing else. But if a plant maize there, you will not check it once in 3 months. You check it almost every other day, if it's not every day. So indirectly, the forest trees are also getting attention. So when there is any need, okay, the farmer can also, what is happening to this? What is happening to this local tree or this? Let's apply this. There is termites attacking it. So the young forest trees can also receive the attention of the farmer, either directly or indirectly. Tangas farming system increases the income of the farmer. Now, the disadvantages of Tangas farming. First is the reluctance in releasing fertile soil by the forestry sector. Forestry sector will be reluctant because you will not, to plant your arable crops or food crops, you will not use the soil that is not good. So for the forestry department to release for you the fertile portion of their soil, that might be reluctance. Then another disadvantage is that the type of crop you can cultivate is restricted. Then there is competition between the crops and the trees for nutrients. The trees are competing for interest as well as the crop. Then monotony of operation is also another disadvantage, just one way thing. The inability of some crops to survive. Some crops may not be able to survive that kind of condition, striving with the tree for nutrients. So those are disadvantages. Now we'll be talking about agroforestry practices in Nigeria. Agroforestry is a collective name for land use system where woody perennials, that is trees, shrubs and palms, are deliberately planted on the same land management units as agricultural crops and or animals in some form of spatial arrangement or temporal system. So when we plant woody perennials on the same land as we plant agricultural crops, that is what is called agroforestry. We have agricultural forestry. You are doing agriculture and forestry together. That is what is called agroforestry. Now, what importance does agroforestry have? Mind you, the Tangas system I just mentioned is a form of agroforestry, doing agriculture and forestry together. So the importance of Tangas system is almost the same as the importance of agroforestry. When there is production of food crops, as you are doing your forestry, food is available. Production of trees are also available. You can also rear animals on that same land. Then there is production of pasture too. Your animals can have something to feed on. The soil fertility is maintained. Then there is production of windbreak. The trees make sure that there is windbreak. Then there is conservation of soil, land and water.